Welcome to Brainy Kids. Get ready to test your knowledge with fun and tricky questions. Let's get started with 3 simple rules. What happens when a star exhausts its hydrogen supply? In approximately 5 billion years, the Sun will enter the red giant phase, a late-stage stellar evolution process in which helium fusion begins at its core. As the radiation pressure increases, the Sun will expand exponentially, likely engulfing Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth. The Sun's outer envelope will decouple from the core, creating a dense, thermally pulsating convective zone before ultimately shedding mass into a planetary nebula. The remaining electron-degenerate core will collapse into a white dwarf, an object supported by quantum mechanical degeneracy pressure rather than fusion. This process is a crucial mechanism in stellar evolution, providing insight into nucleosynthesis and the life cycle of intermediate mass stars. But will this transformation leave anything behind? Will Earth survive? True or false? The expansion of a red giant occurs due to an imbalance between radiation pressure and gravitational contraction. True. Which fundamental force counteracts radiation pressure in a red giant? Gravity. Fill in the blank. The rapid onset of helium fusion in the degenerate core of a red giant is known as the blank flash. Helium. Fill in the blank. The force that prevents a white dwarf from collapsing under its own gravity is blank pressure. Electron degeneracy. What process initiates the expansion of a star into a red giant? The depletion of hydrogen in the core and subsequent hydrogen shell burning. Fill in the blank. The blank process in red giants allows 3 helium nuclei to fuse into carbon. Triple alpha. True or false? The helium flash, a thermonuclear event, marks the beginning of the red giant phase in low-mass stars like the Sun. True. Fill in the blank. The mass loss in a red giant is driven by blank winds, where the outer layers are ejected into space. Stellar winds. Why does a red giant appear red? The expansion of the outer envelope cools the surface temperature, shifting emission toward the red spectrum. Fill in the blank. The core of a red giant is compressed to a density where quantum mechanical effects create a blank degenerate state. Electron degenerate state. True or false? After the red giant phase, the Sun's core will undergo iron fusion, leading to a core collapse supernova. False. The Sun lacks the required mass for iron fusion and will instead become a white dwarf. Fill in the blank. A red giant will eventually shed its outer layers, forming a blank nebula before collapsing into a white dwarf. Planetary. Which nuclear reaction occurs in the core of a mature red giant? Triple alpha process. Fill in the blank. The main energy transport mechanism in the convective zone of a red giant is blank convection. Thermal convection. Fill in the blank. The fate of a star after its red giant phase depends primarily on its blank mass. Initial mass. What role do red giants play in the chemical enrichment of the universe? Red giants are responsible for the synthesis and distribution of heavy elements through a process called stellar nucleosynthesis. During the triple alpha process, helium nuclei fuse to form carbon, while additional reactions can create oxygen, nitrogen, and heavier elements up to iron in larger stars. As the star sheds its outer layers into a planetary nebula, these elements are ejected into interstellar space, enriching future star-forming regions. This cycle of element formation and distribution is crucial for the chemical evolution of galaxies and the formation of planets, life, and complex molecules. True or false? A red giant's outer layers expand due to increased radiation pressure from helium fusion. True. Which mechanism causes a red giant's core to become degenerate? Electron degeneracy pressure. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. The sudden ignition of helium fusion in a degenerate core is known as the blank flash. Helium flash. A red giant loses 5% of its mass per million years due to stellar winds. How long would it take to lose half of its total mass? To calculate time, we use the formula. Time equals total percentage loss divided by the loss rate per million years. The red giant loses 5% per million years, and we need to find how long it takes to lose 50% of its total mass. Dividing 50 by 5 gives us 10 million years. That means over the course of 10 million years, the red giant will lose half of its mass, eventually shedding its outer layers into a planetary nebula. Which element is produced in the helium-burning phase of a red giant? Carbon. If a red giant expands to 250 times the Sun's current radius, how far will its outer edge extend in kilometers? To calculate distance, we multiply the Sun's current radius by the expansion factor, 696,340 kilometers multiplied 250. This equals 174,085,000 kilometers. That means the red giant's surface will extend far beyond the orbits of Mercury and Venus, possibly even reaching Earth. True or false? The final stage of a red giant's evolution is an iron core collapse leading to a supernova. False. The Sun does not have enough mass to fuse iron, so it will become a white dwarf. Fill in the blank. A red giant's blank pressure counteracts gravity in its core after hydrogen fusion ends. Electron degeneracy. Why do red giants experience thermal pulsations during their late-stage evolution? The instability between nuclear fusion and gravitational collapse. Fill in the blank. The blank cycle is responsible for the synthesis of heavier elements like carbon and oxygen. CNO. True or false? The triple alpha process allows red giants to fuse helium into carbon at extremely high temperatures. True. Fill in the blank. The outer layers of a red giant eventually form a blank nebula, enriching space with elements. Planetary nebula. Which phenomenon allows red giants to distribute heavy elements into space? Stellar winds and mass loss. If the outer layers of a red giant travel 25 trillion kilometers in 800,000 years, what is their expansion speed in kilometers per second? To calculate speed, we use the formula speed equals distance divided by time. The red giant's outer layers traveled 25 trillion kilometers over 800,000 years. First, we convert years into seconds. 800,000 years multiplied 31,536,000 seconds per year equal 25,228,800,000,000 seconds. Then, dividing 25 trillion kilometers by 25,228,800,000,000 seconds, we get a speed of approximately 0.99 kilometers per second. That means the red giant's outer layers are expanding at nearly 1 kilometer per second. How did you do? Tell us in the comments below. And thanks for watching Brainy Kids. We hope you had fun learning today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new quiz. See you next time, Brainy Friends.